Mashiv HaRuah OuMorid HaGeshem. In this class, we will go over the laws, the Halakhot of Mashiv HaRuah OuMorid HaGeshem. We will go over the headlines first, so we know what we're going to learn in this class, and then we will go into more details. So we will speak about when we switch, the time that we switch between Morid Atal and Mashiv HaRuah OuMorid HaGeshem. We will explain what is Morid Atal, what is Mashiv HaRuah OuMorid HaGeshem, and then we will speak about Mashiv HaRuah OuMorid HaGeshem and Morid Atal being only mentioning the power of Hashem, in other words, praising Hashem. And then we will talk about what happens with a person that forgot. And again, in this class, we'll speak, we'll focus on Mashiv HaRuah OuMorid HaGeshem. About Morid Atal, God willing, we'll learn in the summertime. And then we will mention whatever the halakhot that we're sharing over here is mainly Sephardic, but we will mention what happens according to the Ashkenaz opinion. And then we will remind everybody that this is not the time, especially outside of Israel, it's not the time that we say Barech Alenu. Barech Alenu we are doing in December. And then we will speak about saying Mashiv HaRuah OuMorid HaGeshem a little bit loud in the beginning of the period that we switch. We'll speak about it. And then what if a person has a doubt? So we said, what if a person forgot to say? He knows he forgot. What if he has a doubt? He's not sure. I forgot, I didn't forget. And then we will speak about that a person should get himself used to saying Mashiv HaRuah OuMorid HaGeshem by repeating 100 times Mashiv HaRuah OuMorid HaGeshem. We'll speak about it. So now let's go back to the beginning and we'll start with explaining what is Morid Atal and what is Mashiv HaRuah OuMorid HaGeshem. So Tal in Hebrew means the dew. So when we say Morid Atal, we're actually saying that Hashem, He is the one that causes the dew to come to the world. Mashiv HaRuah OuMorid HaGeshem is the same idea. And we're saying Mashiv HaRuah, He's blowing the wind, and Morid HaGeshem, He's bringing down the rain. And when is the time that we are switching from one another? So now we have to use common sense. So when is the time of the rain? In the winter. So in the winter we say Mashiv HaRuah OuMorid HaGeshem. Now so we know Sukkot is the beginning of the winter. So Pesach is the beginning of the summer. Now one holiday we make the change in the beginning of the holiday, and one holiday we make the change at the end of the holiday. So how does that work? So every year I'm asking myself, okay, so Mashiv HaRuah OuMorid HaGeshem, I know it's in Sukkot, but is it in the beginning of Sukkot or at the end of Sukkot? And this is we can figure it out just by focusing. Why? Because we know that whenever Sukkot is the time to be in the Sukkah. Can you be in the Sukkah whenever there is rain? Not really. It's not the time for the Sukkah. So therefore, you change to Mashiv HaRuah OuMorid HaGeshem when? At the end of the holiday. So I just gave you the hint, the siman to learn, the sign to learn, to remember. This is at the end of Sukkot. So Shemini Atzeret, the first day of the two holiday days that we have at the end of Sukkot, we are switching to Mashiv HaRuah OuMorid HaGeshem. So this is makes sense, and we are able to figure it out only if we concentrate and we are giving it a little bit of attention. Also, so we said that Mashiv HaRuah OuMorid HaGeshem is not asking Hashem for either. It's not for either the wind or the Geshem. It's only praising Hashem. So let's go through the beracha. Ata gibor la'olam Hashem. You are a hero, Hashem. Mehayeh metim ata. You are do resurrection. You bring people back to life. Rav lehoshia, Mashiv HaRuah OuMorid HaGeshem, bringing a lot of redemption, a lot of Yeshua, salvation. Mashiv HaRuah OuMorid HaGeshem, and we are continuing from all those praises, to say that Hashem is blowing the wind and bringing down the rain. So first of all, we see as a fact that we didn't ask Hashem to do it. We're just saying what He is. We're talking about His power. Now you ask yourself, why do we mention the rain with resurrection, with bringing back people from death to life? So the answer, the beautiful answer is, as we see in the Navi and the Gemara says, that bringing rain to the world is actually causing people to not die. Without rain, there is no economy, there is nothing. So you see that it does fit, like, bringing people back to life and giving them water and causing, their life to continue is almost the same thing. Therefore, we are mentioning praising Hashem in the second Beracha of Shmona Esrei, next to Tehiyat HaMitim, next to resurrection. We are saying Mashiv HaRuah OuMorid HaGeshem, that Hashem brings rain to the world. Now, if a person forgot, so again, now we have to be very logical. It's very easy to remember. Only if we take a moment to think about it. So now let me tell you a scenario. In Israel, and again, we're talking mainly in Eretz Yisrael. This is the ultimate, the place that we are all need to be. And the tefillah and everything, the whole structure of this thing that's called tefillah, everything is around the land of Israel. Now we are in exile. So when we are in Israel, you know that during the winter there is rain. During the summer, there is no rain whatsoever. Maybe once in a year during the summer, and also that's a maybe. But the big part of it is that whenever there is rain, people are not prepared for it, and people are out, and the stores are out, and everything is outside, and it causes a big damage. You see from time to time, once in 2-3 years, you see there is a lot of rain happening during the summer in Israel, and it causes a disaster, nothing but a disaster. So therefore, now you remember that if you are mentioning rain at the wrong time, it's actually could cause a disaster. So now from that, it's enough for us to understand and remember and figure out the rest. So if during the winter that I'm supposed to mention Hashem's glory by bringing down the rain, I only talk about the dew does not cause any damage. What is the dew? It's very soft, find it on your car in the morning, on leaves, on the grass. It's very soft. So you, by mistake, you mentioned the dew, fine. Well, you don't have to go back. But if during the summer you mentioned Mashiv HaRuah OuMorid HaGeshem, this is already sounds like a disaster, and therefore, you have to go back. So now we are learning about Mashiv HaRuah OuMorid HaGeshem. We are supposed to say that in tefillah. So if a person said Morid Hatal, now you know the dew is not causing any damage, and therefore during the winter you forgot, and you know for sure you forgot, you don't repeat, you go back, you don't go back, and you continue the beracha on. Now, important to remember, this is everything that we learned up until now, that you don't go back, is after you said Shem Hashem, Baruch Ata Adonai. Then you don't go back. But up before that, a person should go back to the beginning of the beracha, or not the very beginning. You could Mehayem Metim Atar, right there you look in the Siddur, Mehayem Metim Atar Rav Leoshia, Mashiv HaRuah OuMorid HaGeshem, and then go on. By the moment he says Baruch Ata Hashem, Baruch Ata Adonai, he has to continue Mehayeh HaMetim and go on with the tefillah. Now Ashkenaz, they have a little different halakha over here, and I'll mention it very short. If you have questions, either reach to your local rabbi or contact us, and we'll tell you what the halakha is. But for us, we said that in the summer we say Morid Hatal. In the winter we say Mashiv HaRuah OuMorid HaGeshem, and sometimes they don't mention Morid Hatal at all. They either say Mashiv HaRuah OuMorid HaGeshem, and during the summer they say nothing. So for us, we said that if a person said Morid Hatal, it doesn't cause any damage. But for them, they don't say anything, so they omit Mashiv HaRuah and Morid Hatal. Saying nothing doesn't work, and they have to go back. Again, if you have questions about it, just realize that the siddur that you have, at least that you mentioned something. If you have questions, you will find out about it. Now, I'm reminding you again that Barech Aleinu is Bakasha. Barech Aleinu Hashem Elokeinu Tashana Azot. Please bless this year with fruitful year and good parnasah and so on and so forth. So this is a real asking that comes after Refa'enu, after we ask for refuah, after we ask for Yeshua, after we ask for teshuvah, that Hashem should So then it's about here we're talking Mashiv HaRuah HaMorid HaGeshem is praising Hashem. But the other one, Barech Alinu, the long one that we say during the winter, is actually asking Hashem, and that happens only in December time. And we'll talk about why. First of all, why in December? We'll talk about that in another class, and also why don't we mention it earlier. And I'm just telling you now also that in Israel they do it 2 weeks after the holiday ends, which happens to be Zayin B'Heshvan. Zayin B'Heshvan, in Israel they start saying Barech Alenu. We over here we do it in December, and we will announce when to do it. But I'm just reminding you now that to not mix the two. You say Mashiv HaRuah HaMorid HaGeshem, but you continue to say Barechenu, the short beracha after Rafaenu. Now in synagogue, the halakha encourages us to say Mashiv HaRuah HaMorid HaGeshem in the beginning of the period of changing, within the 30 days of Shemini Atzeret. So for 30 days you say Mashiv HaRuah HaMorid HaGeshem. Now, you know, people are saying Amidah. Amidah is silent, is quiet. Mashiv HaRuah, you hear them. Mashiv HaRuah HaMorid HaGeshem. So now there are two things over here. First of all, we want to remind ourselves that we said that. And if you're going to continue quietly, especially in the first days, you're not remembering whether you said that or you did not. And therefore, the halakha encourages you to say it a little bit loud in order, and it says, I think the Ramban used to do it. He's a big rabbi, and if he did it, obviously, you know, for us, it's a lesson for us to do it also. And but at the same time, we have to have sensitivity for other people that are praying next to us. If you are in a synagogue and there are, you know, like let's say 50 people praying, and the place is not huge, and everyone is sort of close to each other, and each one is saying Mashiv HaRuah HaMorid HaGeshem, how could the person pray? So the idea, I think, is just to do it loud enough for us, for ourselves, that we hear ourselves, and also whoever is within, I would say 2 or 3 people within the circle of, you know, reminding each other, because that's you know, it's a pleasant to get this reminder. But once each one is starting to scream Mashiv HaRuah HaMorid HaGeshem, also the halakha opposes that as well. And some people said, no, don't do anything because you're bothering. And some say, no, do it out loud. So therefore, you know, we are going in the middle way, the golden way. Remind yourself, people that are really near you to hear. You know, if there are only 10 people and people are far from each other, the synagogue is big, you can do it a little louder. But again, use your wisdom, your sensitivity, and do it in a way that you gain both. You help yourself and you don't bother others. Now, what is the halakha about a person that has a safek? He is not sure whether he said Mashiv HaRuah HaMorid HaGeshem or Morid Atal. So we said that in the winter it's not a problem, because even if he said Morid Atal, the dew does not cause any damage. But during the summer, it's important to know that there is, within 30 days, there are different halakhot between whether it was within 30 days, because within 30 days we are holding that he's still used to say Morid Atal, and therefore if he didn't say Mashiv HaRuah HaMorid, he's still used to say Mashiv HaRuah HaMorid HaGeshem, and therefore if he doesn't remember during the summer, he probably is still doing whatever he was doing up until now for 30 days, and therefore within 30 days of making the change, he has to repeat. So that's a side note. It's more crucial during the summer, but not so much in the winter. Nevertheless, in the winter, if a person, as we said before Baruch Atah Hashem, a person does not remember, should go back, because he probably did say Morid Atal and not Mashiv HaRuah HaMorid HaGeshem. But after he said Shem Hashem, should go on even if he's not sure. Now, there is a nice thing to do in order for us to resolve this safek, this doubt, and also for us to pray properly. So during the holiday, as soon as they make the change, a person walks home Musaf, he should say 100 times, Mehayem eti matarav le'oshia Mashiv HaRuah HaMorid HaGeshem. Mehayem eti matarav le'oshia Mashiv HaRuah HaMorid HaGeshem. Mehayem eti matarav le'oshia Mashiv HaRuah HaMorid HaGeshem. Then we hold that even if he doesn't remember later, he got his tongue used to saying, so then any safek that he will have after that, following him saying it 100 times, it doesn't have to be, in one, but try to do it within that day or the next day. You do 50, 50, 30, 30, and 40, whatever it is. But we hold that if you have a safek, you really did whatever you did lastly 100 times. That is very, very helpful during the summer, because we said that if a person forgot or has a doubt within 30 days, he has to go back. And imagine, it could be the end of the tefillah, it could be in mudim, it could be halfway through, or even finish the whole tefillah, and he has to pray again because he causes damage by saying Mashiv HaRuah HaGeshem. Or he is not sure, we are still holding that he probably said whatever he's used to say. But if he was repeating it for 100 times, we don't have a doubt anymore. He can continue and finish the tefillah, and he doesn't have to go back. Now, why 100 times? So, if we say that we have 30 days, and after 30 days, we are holding that's it. He already changed from getting used to the older thing, and after 30 days, that's it. He's used to the new saying. So 30 days, if you have 3 tefillot a day, that's 90. And then the halakha says 90, but it's better to do 100 because one of the rabbis says, you have musaf also in between. So it's a little bit more 90 because you have 4 Shabbatot. Every Shabbat has a musaf. So if there is a musaf inside, it's another 4. So it's not really 90. You do it 100 times, you cover it. But again, if you did it 90 times, you're still covered in the halakha. But it's better to do 100 times. With this, on that note, we finish the class on Mashiv HaRuah HaGeshem. I wish you all a healthy and happy winter.